you see, when I started and then we start going, so the growth was always upwards and upwards and upwards, and somewhere along the line, success makes you complacent. It makes you take things for granted. So a lot of things, on hindsight, you realize these were mistakes. So, like, one of the mistakes that I made was that my company was very heavily dependent on a few customers.
Okay.
2 or 3 customers were contributing 70% to my top line.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I was also focused only on certain niche areas. Now, whilst those niche areas are very good, because that became my core strength, it also prevented myself from looking at other areas which I could have developed, because this was doing so well. I felt that I don't need to look at anything else, so I allowed a lot of opportunities to slip by.
Let go.
I said, I'm doing well here. Why bother about adding something and starting afresh on something new? Maybe I could have gone into labels. Maybe I could have done that. This is all on hindsight. But at that point of time, if I would have done, maybe, who knows? So, anyways, if things were going well, life teaches you that it is bound to have a few hiccups, and we had n number of hiccups which came about. In the year 2016, I think we lost a couple of very good clients. I literally went to sleep one night as a 100 crore company. In the morning when I woke up, we were a 50 crore company, because I had lost 2 clients who were contributing nearly 50% of my top line.
That was the kind of impact.
That's the kind of shock I had. I had done a lot of investments, capital heavy investments. I had bank loans which I had to service, and I was left wondering as to how the hell am I going to service this, and I had 300 people on my payroll. So where do I go from here, because I now don't have work, and it's not that if I've lost clients you can lose clients overnight, but to develop those type of clients, it had taken me close to about 15 years.
And 50% of that is going to be wiped out one night.
Yeah, one night. So I was like, what
that
do
was
I do?
Because of COVID, or was it because of the digital transformation?
It was a multiple reasons. One of the major factors was, at that point of time, each country was coming up with their own data policy, and a lot of countries required that data not be sent cross-border.
Oh, right.
So that impacts. So a lot of my clients could not send their data because the country didn't allow it. So that's the reason why. So there were loopholes in the policy which needed to be. But the instant reaction from people was that we want to remain compliant with the laws of the country, so we will not send data out. Afterwards, they came to realize that, okay, financial data is not to be sent out. Generic data, you have certain exceptions, etc. So there were ways in which we could have handled this, but the initial reaction that my clients
usually people have a knee-jerk reaction to anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And that would have impacted the business.
So I lost business because of that. Also, digital was e-form of communication was becoming popular. So and it was cheaper. So people wanted to see whether their response levels are maintained if they say they send an emailer rather than a physical mailer.
Right.
So all of those things contributed to us losing clients. Add to that, we got a lot of other problems, like we suddenly found that we had a union in place at our premise, so we had to tackle that. We had, I mean, if you can think of a problem, we had it at that point of time, and it required us to really come together and think about what we should do. At one stage, I actively thought that maybe I should exit the business because I am still this thing. But then I had a team. My son had joined my business. So we all sat together and we said, do we fight it out or do we, settle everything? And everybody said we should fight it out. And we didn't know what we were getting into, but we had to let go of a lot of people because we were suddenly half our size. We couldn't afford to service our bank loans. I had to default on them. I became a defaulter in the national banking system. All kinds of challenges, and with that, the banks started pressurizing us because they ultimately everything is mortgaged to them.
True.
So if they take possession of my factory and all that, we are locked out. So all those kind of things, and then that COVID came in. So
oh my.
We were completely shut down for 5-6 months. It really took a toll on us, and we didn't know what we were going to do. But like I said, there are good times and then there are bad times, and then again good times. We stuck it out. We fought. We did whatever we had to do. We had to let go of a lot of people. I had to run from pillar to post to settle with the bank. I had to sell a lot of assets that we had. But at the end of it, by 2021, we had more or less taken care of all of these things. I got out of the bank trap. I was able to settle with the bank, no longer an NPA. We are now again back on the growth phase where
Nice.
we were a loss-making company. We are now looking at break even, and business is looking good. Business is looking robust thanks to my son Prithviraj having taken over. He has a very different outlook on business compared to me. I am old school. He is a younger chap, more tech savvy, more worldly, experience. So he's giving what we call now in MOS as what I did was MOS 1.0, and what he's doing is MOS 2.0, and it's looking good.
Lovely.